Hey guys, so today I wanted to talk about Molly Bish. Molly Bish was a 16-year-old from Massachusetts who disappeared while working as a lifeguard in Warren, Massachusetts. And she was born August 2nd, 1983. So she would be she'll be 40 next year, which is crazy because she was 16 when she initially went missing. So what happened was she was a lifeguard during the summer at a pond called Commons Pond, and her mom would drop her off at her lifeguard post at the pond every morning. So the day before she disappeared, her mother said that she saw a man with a mustache, and he was in a white car. He was parked in the lot of the beach where Molly Bish was a lifeguard. She thought he seemed a little suspicious, but she didn't think any more about him until Molly disappeared. So the next day, on June 27th, 2000, her mother drove her to the pond, dropped her off for her job as a lifeguard, and that was the last time that her mother would see her, because several hours later, the police called Molly's parents and told them no lifeguard had been on duty that day and that Molly's belongings had been left unattended. So Molly's mother thought back about the guy that she saw the day before that was kind of, suspicious in the parking lot, but she didn't see him the day that Molly went missing. However, another witness said he saw a man matching the stranger's description in the pond's parking lot just before Molly arrived. So he might have been there and then thought, well, the mother already saw me yesterday. I better hide out so she doesn't see me again. So they searched for her, and they found her 2 years later because a hunter had seen a bathing suit in the woods, and he mentioned it to his friend who was familiar with the case and thought the police might want to look in that area, and that's where they found her. Unfortunately, it was too long. It had been there too long for them to know a cause of death, but they presumed that she was murdered. So the most recent thought on who was a man as a man of interest in the case was Francis Sumner Sr., who was a registered sex offender. And they said he had a resemblance to the guy that Molly's mother had seen in the parking lot. So they did a DNA comparison with DNA they have in Molly's case with this guy, because he's passed away. So they had to use his son for the DNA, and it was not a match. So my thought is, at least they get to rule him out and focus on someone else. But I think that it's good that they have DNA. That's promising that there might be a way to solve this in the future by them comparing the DNA on those websites that they've been using. apparently at first they looked into her boyfriend and all the usual suspects. Now, some people wonder if it's connected to another Massachusetts case of Holly Haranen. She was killed 7 years earlier. And what's kind of eerie in this case is that Molly wrote a letter to Holly's parents saying, "I am very sorry. I wish I could make it up to you. Holly is very pretty. She is almost as tall as me. I wish I knew Holly. I hope they find her. Molly Bish, age 10. So she was a little kid. She heard about another little kid getting murdered, and she reached out to the parents, which is kind. But what worries me is how they put it in the paper. So they did an article in the paper. They put Molly's letter in there. And imagine if you're the murderer and you murdered Holly, and here you see another little girl's name pop up. Could it be that who murdered Holly started to be fixated on Molly and was who was responsible for Molly's murder? I always think of that because I hear of cases where registered sex offenders, they'll find newspaper clippings of children, sometimes in their belongings. And this was mainly before they had the internet. They would go by the newspaper a lot. And this happened when the internet was kind of new. So it could be that there's a pervert out there looking through the newspaper and he sees this, and so I think whoever murdered Holly could be the same one that murdered Molly. And they're still looking into who murdered Holly, so I might do a separate video on Holly. But I just wanted to draw attention to Molly Bish's case because, we shouldn't forget these cases because nobody's been caught yet. This person's still out there and they need to be brought to justice. So thanks to all my subscribers, and I'll see you in the next one.
You told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade